Now live and on lockdown.
Are you ready?
Broadcasting from Edinburgh, Scotland and across the globe.
Listen here.
You're listening to Ramsay Unleashed, Going Beyond Borders podcast on Hearts on Live Radio with your host, Fraser Ramsay.
Hi, this is Afia Letha from KingdomBeats.com. Proud to be a sponsor of Ramsay Unleashed, Going Beyond Borders on heartsonlive.co.uk.
Welcome to another edition to Ramsay Unleashed, Going Beyond Borders on heartsonlive.co.uk. It is your host, Fraser Ramsay, sitting in the hot seat as normal every weekend, every Saturday, by clockwork. But yes, so tonight's show, it's another weekend. We've had this full week, second week of January. Is now well into. If you're still saying Happy New Year, just stop it, because it's not happening anymore. We're right into it. We're in the flow, because before you know it, it's February, literally within a week and a half. It's not 2.5 weeks. So it's time to move forward. If you're not started the year yet, get moving. Anyway, we're another great guest on tonight. We will have Leila Welch, all the way from Birmingham, Alabama. My American connections are growing. We have lots coming up going forward. So it's all good. My guest is an author. We're going to talk about her book. We're going to talk about her life growing up, just a bit of an insight to her, because she's got some challenging stuff. Especially the main thing is about loneliness. Now, loneliness in Edinburgh, just locally, we have had I think it's been advertised recently on other radio stations. The main one is called Take the Time campaign. It's with people who taking the time to befriend people who are lonely, people who do live alone, is to get them out and to have a company, because loneliness can be a killer in real life. A lot of people die because of just loneliness, because of nobody around them. So it's to Take the Time campaign, to be able to spend time with somebody who might be alone, somebody who's older or elderly, is just to befriend somebody and get them out there, go for a coffee. These type of things, and it can be it's a major problem around the world. And at the end of the day, we're going to hear something about her, Leila. If you read her name, it's like Leila, but it's not. It's actually Leila. People being alone can be an issue, and it's something we need to address in life around the world. So you will hear a bit about her story in her book and how. What she's gone through, and hopefully her story will inspire you as you are listening to Ramsay Unleashed, Going Beyond Borders. We have some tunes. We have a new feature tonight on our show. We have Benita Charles, and sent me another one of her songs. She is firing the tunes at me, and I'm playing them. But we've also got our new feature is we're having a 60-second singing tips motivational bit by Benita. She's going to be sending us a 60-second feature every show. We'll have that. So hopefully you can feel encouraged, you'll learn something from these 60 seconds, which would be great fun to have that feature now. A couple other tunes, Claire Means, Loretta Smale and Benita Charles, and the usual general chit chat with my guest. So I won't hang about any longer. I welcome my guest, Leila Welch, all the way from Birmingham, Alabama. So how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello, and hello. Good evening over there, everyone. How are you today, Ramsay?
Yeah, I'm good. It's a bit kind of, after cleaning a big, very, very dirty flat, yes, it's to say my body is feeling the pace a little. I think it's the arthritis kicking in, I think. Because, I'll tell you some of them, feeling it a little, but never mind. All's good, but all good. It's a bit chilly outside. The weather is a bit... Could be easily rewrapped. I had to cranked up the heating in the studio before I kicked off. So it's nice and toasty. I've turned it off so I don't kind of get a big massive fan of sound blowing down the airwaves. So it's all nice and toasty here, so it's all good. I've still got the trusty Christmas tree up in the studio, which is actually really nice, because it actually it's really... I think we're just going to keep it up all year round. I think that's the plan. It saves a lot of hassle taking it down, so... it's a lot better for some reason. But anyway, it's all good. So how's your day been? Well, you say your day. When I say your day, you're only it's kind of 3/4 of the day, because it's only 2:00 in the afternoon for you. It's just
it's only like 2 here, so that's why I made it a point to say good evening over there,
exactly,
or what have you. But
exactly. So what have you done with your morning so far then?
Oh, today has actually been a very productive day. I will say that. I've been up actually about 4:41 this morning. And I did some cleaning. That's something that we definitely had something in common today, you and I. We did some cleaning today. And I actually went to a workout class. It's twerking and Afro beat dancing and whatnot, hip hop.
What time did you go to this workout class? What time?
My class was at 9. It was 9 this morning. It worked out really in my favor. I was trying to connect with a young lady Thursday, and we couldn't connect. And so she reached out to me this morning, and she's like, well, I tell you what, why don't you come in today? And I was thinking about it. I said, okay, well, yeah, I can do that. I said, I don't talk to Ramsay until, later on today. I said, yeah, let's do that. And oh my gosh.
So it was a twerking and Afrobeats fitness class.
Yes, it was twerking and doing some it had some music, Afrobeat, so have to hip hop, some pop or whatever, because I love dancing. So when she said twerking, I was like, yes.
Okay, only to be a fly in the wall, and that could be if you're going, good grief, what the heck.
Yeah, you would have been, if you were a fly, you definitely would have been on your back, because I found out that I'm twerk challenged.
Only in America. Oh, good grief. So twerking fitness class. But that's
but I had a great time. And you talking about, the ladies, they're younger than I am. I'm 47, and it's been I'm trying to, since the new year is here, I'm trying to get back in shape and all, because I'm a plus size lady, but I still have to be healthy because I'm always on the go or whatnot. And you already have some things working against you as you get older. And I had to come home and take a soak. I was like, oh my god.
Just take, the hips are not quite what they used to be. My sciatica's kicking in. Sorry, I need to go and get a bath.
I had my daughter rolling because I was going strong. I was doing good, but I think those last 20 minutes in that class, I was like, okay.
Well, there we go. So if as I say, if you're listening out there and you're interested in doing some twerking fitness class, well, get yourself to Birmingham, Alabama on a plane. You'll be fine.
There you go.
Anyway, let's move on from twerk away and move on. As you, well, maybe that was a bad connection, right? Anyway, moving on swiftly. Let's get into a little bit about you. Who is Leila Welch? Talk about where your background, brought up, school, kind of life in general, things, ups, downs, left, right. You know what I mean? Let's let people get to know you, who you are.
Yeah, when you and I were talking, I was trying to figure out exactly which analogy that I wanted to go with to explain who is Leila Welch. Let me say first, Leila Welch, that is my name. That is on my birth certificate. Welch is my married name, but I am Lee Welch, like the Jews, all day long. That's exactly who I am. That's a funny story with that. But, I was trying to decide if I was going to say, well, I'm like a box of chocolate or what have you, because you have different flavors and this, that, and so on and other. Or I was trying to think of, say, if I was like, an onion, because I have so many layers of Lee Welch, like the juice or whatnot. So, I guess, hey, I'm both of them, because I like chocolate and I like onions. But, I say all that to say, there's so many faces. I'm not, mentally challenged or whatever. It's just that, God has just blessed me with so many gifts and talents, it just puts me in a position where I can just try so many different things, and some stuff I, excel, and some stuff I do just to see if I can pull it off. But in a nutshell, I'm many things. I'm many things, and I'm really grateful for that. And so let's see. So let me say, for one, let me drop this first.
Mm-hmm.
Who I am today as an author was not my plan.
Right.
If that makes sense. Because now I've always wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur. I love entrepreneurship. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think I would, I just never pegged myself as an author. I'm going to put it like that. So I'm going to back up a little bit, because sometimes, you have to tell the story and get the momentum going before I say who I am. The author thing, that's God. And I just had the assignment, and I will talk about that shortly.
Mm-hmm.
But as a child, as you mentioned or what have you, I'm the only child.
Mm-hmm.
So by being the only child, you do experience loneliness. That's where it comes from. I had imaginary friends or whatnot. I was well taken care of, but I was lonely. I definitely was lonely because, after, your kids and stuff go home, I didn't have, my mom was a little strict or what have you. And so I didn't really go outside a whole lot. I went outside some, and I didn't have a whole lot of friends or whatnot. And so, I was a lonely child. I was a very lonely child. I was kind of timid. And then on top of that, the way my mother worked, so I was left with my grandparents. Mm-hmm. So my grandparents are much older, and, so grandparents normally just kind of take care of you, that if that makes sense. I was well taken care of and things of that nature, but just kind of lonely, kind of kind of tucked away or whatnot. And I think sometimes that kind of showcase when I was in school or whatnot. I was picked on. I don't think in this day and age anyone can say they were never been picked on. But it's different things. For me, I was picked on because what I have is hyperpigmentation under my eyes, which is darkness under my eyes. And, what you would say in the street or in layman's terms, I have circles and whatnot. And so, to add on top of that, being lonely, mm-hmm. and then being picked on because you have a flaw of something that, you can't control, right, or what have you. So to put that on top of it, you just kind of withdraw, I had just a few friends, and, thinking hindsight, I'm like, especially when I was in elementary, I'm like, well, they're really my friends, but that's another whole conversation right there. Mm-hmm. But yes, I was talked about and this, and so on, the other, and how this whole thing really kind of came back, that kind of is kind of twofold. My book is twofold because I talk about.
Well, before we go to your book, we'll go to the book. Come to the book in a second. This is before we get too quick. So, did you go when you were at school? And you say you got picked on? Did you talk about? Yes. Were you getting bullied? Yeah, obviously, basically, it's a form of bullying. Basically, you got bullied.
Yeah, I was, and not only that, I was bullied from adults as well. So the thing about
how severe was the being picked on? Obviously, just being a lonely child, obviously, and you talk about your skin condition and just being bullied. And did you feel depressed? Did you struggle with that? Did you at that time? And how did you going home every day? And how did you deal with this kind of thing?
Well, as a child, you just kind of just go through the motions, because I was a child, mm-hmm. so I couldn't separate certain things that I can as an adult now. So, but what happens when you are a child, you feel rejected. So, that comes along with it as well. So now you're talking about I'm lonely. Now I'm talking about, I'm being bullied. And so that brings on rejection, and that brings on like, well, my worth, or what have you. But you don't know to put that emotion with that until you get a little bit older. It's just kind of confusion. It's really I was confused, because I'm like, why is it that way? I was still able to go through the motions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had a bleeding heart. I was just, behind closed doors. I was lonely. It's funny. I hear my mother saying, I have a picture that when I was in elementary, and my mom said that, she said, you look so sad in that picture. And, when she said that, I told her, I said, because I was a lonely child, I was a lonely child, and I felt like I couldn't make any friends and things of that nature or whatnot. And, she just kind of looked at me. She was stunned, because I don't think she was expecting me to say that. But, when you become an adult, you build a little bit more character and a little bit more fortitude where you can actually say some things. And, plus it was my mom. But, yeah, it showed in my pictures. I have that picture now. My mother passed. And so, I have the pictures of myself that she had, and I didn't smile in them. I didn't smile in those pictures.
What did your mom? What did your mom pass away from? Was it just
my mom actually, she passed June of last year, and she passed from breast cancer.
All right, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. It manifests in her lymphatic nodes or what have you. I could be saying that incorrectly, but it metastasized in her brain and things of that nature. So, and she was, when we found out, she was already at stage 4.
Yeah.
And, but going back to the picture, and looking at my other pictures, it's like, so pictures that's so far in between where I'm not smiling because, inside I was not a happy child, inside, but then you start to grow and, it's like you just kind of go through the motions, so here I am now, and going into middle school, going into high school, finding myself a little bit more whatnot, but kind of misguided because at this point, I feel like I can make myself look cute, and that comes from someone actually telling me right before the summer, right before I got ready to go into maybe high school or last year middle school. I think it was middle school I was in the 8th grade. I actually had somebody to tell me to my face that I was ugly. And I never, up until that time, even though I was bullied, even though I felt rejected and this, and so and the other, but I never saw myself ugly, if that makes sense. And so when that person, told me, he was like, you are so ugly. And when he said that, for one, I really didn't know how I couldn't reply to it. I mean, because, who says that to somebody to their face every single day? I mean, that's kind of unheard of, but, it happened. And, but at that point, I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. I see why I was lonely as a child. I see why I was rejected as a child. I see why people did not want to be my friend as a child is because they saw that I was ugly too.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
And so, I went through feeling like that for a long time. Like I said, going through the motions or what have you. Thought about depression. As I got, in my teenage years, my high school years were really kind of rough or whatnot, because you carry on those things that hurt you from school and you want to be a part of the in crowd or whatnot. It goes back, well, what's wrong with me? Why, why I can't be a part of your crowd, because people want to be a part of the crowd, the clique, especially if that clique is, people like them, and they're always into stuff and they're good looking clique. And so you want to be a part of that too. But, when you're not a part of that, you're like, well, what's wrong with me? There again, well, why I can't be a part of that clique? So at this point, I'm masking. And so what I mean by masking, I know how to hide my circles with makeup or whatnot and kind of make myself look cute and feel better about myself and, get the boys' attention and things of that nature. And that was misguided because, that led to really talking to some guys I didn't like. But, I'm a young lady, and you want the guys to like you at that time. And, I was nicely built or what have you, very curvy, let me say. I always been curvy. Mm-hmm. So I found another way to make myself stand out. And that was really with my body. I'm like, okay, well, if I can't do it with my face or what have you, if I can't look cute to the guys or whatnot, well, I'll let them, I would just, make up my body. I have my body to be the forefront. I didn't dress like on a tramp or whatever because my mom wouldn't have that. Yeah. But however, it's just a way that I start carrying myself a little bit differently and just wearing, a little really cute stuff that will accentuate my body to get your attention. And sometimes that's not. A lot of times for me, that was not the right choice. Like I said, it was misguided. But, unfortunately, it's one of those things like you don't know that you're allergic to a bee until you get stung. So, you really don't know sometimes who you're dealing with with guys or whatnot until, you're with them alone and you kind of find out that they're not really nice guys, if that makes sense. Yes. And so... Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, carry on. I'm listening. It's good. Just
okay.
This is all good. You're just dissecting the kind of piece by piece and the things the guy. It's good. It's really interesting. It's a good insight.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, and so at this point, I'm still learning myself. I'm still learning, what works for me, what not works for me and whatnot. But then I start, I had like a little chip on my shoulder or whatnot and trying to go for bad, because the thing is, there is some truth to when people say that hurt people hurt other people. And hurt people will make sure that you get hurt before you hit me. So I had So I had a guard up. I at this point also, I'm going for the bad girl, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'm going for the bad girl because, I'm tired of people hurting me. I'm tired of being used. I'm tired of people talking about me. I'm tired of guys making lies up about me and the girls believing it and this, that, and so on the other. And I'm nothing like that. So, I built up this wall or what have you. And so, like I said, I went for bad at this time. And that was misguided, because when you go for bad, you kind of find out, for me, that people really don't want to be around you for real, So I was like, making it kind of worse for myself. And I think it was going into my college, I started growing up a little bit, if that makes. I started maturing. I started refining myself a little bit more, what have you. And, now I'm still hiding behind makeup. Now, I'm still hiding behind makeup, hiding behind certain clothes and hiding behind hairstyles or whatever, because at this stage, I'm comfortable with that because it's working for me, if that makes sense, but I'm not being flamboyant with my body. I kind of, it's like, okay, that's not the road to go because, like I said, you come across some really bad guys. And I thank God that I've never been in a situation where I could have been really, really hurt, take advantage of seriously and couldn't control a situation that I could not get out of. So I thank God for the protection of that, because I know that sometimes, when young ladies go down that route, they end up raped and this, thus, and so on and others. So I thank God that never happened to me, but mentally I was, if that makes sense. So I'm in college now, and I'm feeling, I have a little, my confidence is a false confidence, it's not.
Just quickly, what did you study at college? What were you studying?
Well, when I went to college, I had a double major. It was psychology and business, and my minor, I forgot what my minor was. I forgot. It's been so long ago. Oh my God. But I tell you what, when I was in college, what a lot of people didn't know that I took a course in college was opera, because I like opera. Now, don't ask me about no opera singers and their names or whatever. But, I just like the way it sounds. I really, really do. And so I took a course because I can sing okay. I was in the choir for a moment there. And when I found out that they had a course in opera, of course, I went with it. But that's a serious skill set. So that needs to say I didn't stay in that class long at all. Okay. But yeah, that's, I'm in college, I'm feeling better about myself, even though, like I said, it's a self-made confidence. It's a confidence that I made. It's not something that I started to renew my mind, if that makes sense, because true confidence comes from when you renew your mind and how you truly feel about yourself, and when you make peace about yourself with you're not going to ever be as a person. But the opposite of that is that, but you do embrace who you are. And see, that's what I started doing. I started embracing who I was, who I am. And, and at this point, my relationship with God is, I'm getting closer to him. Just reading scriptures and things of that nature. And, and it was a process. It was process, but through him, this is when I'm able to build myself up authentically, if that makes sense.
What we'll do is we'll take a wee break. I'm going to come back to a bit more of what you're doing now, because you've got the college part and how you're getting closer to God and things, and then we'll go into a bit more like jobs and things, and your faith a bit more. Then we'll come into your book and time. Obviously, you're now married. You're married woman. We can, if you want to talk about when that all finally kicked in, and you're so we'll play a couple of tunes. So our first tune is by Loretta Smale, and Love Is Pouring Down. So we'll be back after this and a few announcements in general. So please hang on a second. We'll be back with Leila Welch, all the way from Birmingham, Alabama. So just sit back and enjoy the tunes while we can be back with yourself. Okay.
Alone This is Benita Charles from BenitaCharles.com on Ramsay Unleashed, Going Beyond Borders with your 60-second singing tip. Today's tip is about motivation. If you're struggling to stay on track with your goals, here are 5 tips to keep you motivated. Number 1, write out your goals every day, twice a day if you're ambitious. Number 2, break your goals into bite-sized pieces. Number 3, have a specific deadline to achieve your goals. Number 4, tell someone or announce your goals for accountability. And number 5, reward yourself when you accomplish your goals. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for the next 60-second singing tip on Ramsay Unleashed on heartsonglive.co.uk.
And welcome back to Ramsay Unleashed Going Beyond Borders. That was Loretta Smale, Love is Pouring Down, and Benita Charles' 60-second singing tip. And we'll have that a weekly feature going forward from BenitaCharles.com. And so you just keep some got our song from her as well. And great music, great tunes. And we're back with Leila Welch, all the way from Birmingham, Alabama. So, Leila, we're going to talk about your college. You're at college. You're gonna, so let's talk about your faith and a bit more. Your moving forward and how you're obviously you've grown up a bit. You're feeling a bit more, and you're still masking a little. But how did you start to eventually deal with all this stuff going forward? I mean, how did you offload to feel more free and not bottled up anymore?
Right. If you allow me, let me go back and talk about the bullying, the being bullied, just for a moment, because while we're in the commercial break or what have you, you kind of replay things in your mind, and at that point, sometimes you kind of forget to say stuff, and so this is what I want to say about bullying. Even though I was not physically bullied and it was mental, if anybody gets anything out of this, I want you to know that first of all, you're not you're not born to be anyone's footstool.
Correct. Okay,
and I know that's hard sometimes, especially when your oppressors are the people that are living in your home. If you think about it, in the animal kingdom, everything has some form of defense mechanism. Some of them can fight, some of them can take flight, or what have you. Some of them, I even think about how God has made even some of them to be invisible to their predator. And so I'm saying that to say is that you have to find your defense mechanism. You have to find it. And because it goes back to, you're not here to be anyone's punching bag. You're not here for anybody to, talk down to you or anything. That is not your purpose in life. And you should not have to go through that. And I know it's easier said than done because I went through it. But what I will say, if you're in a situation and it's kind of harder for children, especially when they're young, so if you know someone who is young that's being oppressed by anybody, please speak up. Please speak up. If you're in a position where, you can do something for yourself or whatnot, try to go talk to someone. If you're at that age where you can articulate that you're being hurt or whatnot, try to talk to someone, because your abuser, especially like I said, unfortunately, the parents sometimes are the abuser. So it's a very sensitive and difficult, complicated situation right there. And the parents may need some help. But the person that's being oppressed, the person that's being, hurt, I want you to know that you're not born for that. You're not born for that. And remember that you're no one's footstool. Okay, so I got off my soapbox for that.
No, that's quite right. It's a very, very good point, and a very, very we're not. I see too many people being footstools, and they're kind of, as much as I like to say, they feel it's kind of the person whose foot is on them as they're the stool. They can't seem to get a break. They can't seem to have. They've got their confidence is shot. And I know somebody who's going through that, but and they end up making it. It just sounds like, oh yeah, I've got this and that going on, and so it gets worse. And there's no, because there's no, well, they're just almost giving up, and it's you can't take blood out of stone, and it's difficult. And I love I see too many people who are footstools. Yeah, I see too many, and I just say, listen, you gotta, we're not. Yeah, we're not here to be bullied by somebody's, and I can't, and it happens. It happens even in the church. It happens, and people in leadership roles who bully their congregation, bully people, and it's not right.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that myself, and I stand up now, and I just think it's wrong, and I think it's really outrageous for people how they abuse their leadership and what they do and to others. And I think it's absolutely disgusting.
It is. I agree.
Yeah, but anyway, let's go into a little bit of your faith. Obviously, how you've got closer, you're getting closer, and let's talk about your just your jobs, your first job kind of thing, and what you did, and how you go into a little bit of that.
Okay, talk about my first job. Is that what you said?
First job, or because obviously you've left college, you're getting closer to God. You've grown up a bit. You're starting work, that kind of thing. You could have, and then I had my first job when I was 14. Oh, okay.
Well, I take that back. I'm actually lying. I had my first job at 12, and that was my experience of getting a taste of entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Because I had my own candy store.
Oh, wow.
So I've always been working in some form of fashion or what have you. The thing is with entrepreneurship, it really does spill over into your life. Mm-hmm. Your personal life, it spills over into your personal life because the tools and principles and everything that you learn, you can apply them in your personal life as well. But when you're talking of getting back to how my faith and my relationship with God actually built my self-confidence about myself, because like I said, I was able to mask it even as a younger child. I just have this ability, and I just have this gift where I can persevere. And I understand, about long suffering. I understand about long suffering now because I'm older and I'm wiser. But I've always been able to persevere and just kind of move on. But like I said, but inside I was still bleeding and crying. Okay. But my relationship with God, finding out who He is, taking the time out to read His scriptures, because I didn't know really where to start. I found God through someone else because this person, she had an aura about herself. I didn't even know that she was a religious woman. I didn't even know that she was, who she was. I just didn't know. And I didn't think you can ever see auras, but I actually saw aura. I saw a glow about her, and I was just so intrigued. And when she started talking to me, actually it was on one of my jobs. Actually, I was a dispatcher for a security system, and I was the night shift. And so, you really don't know who people are until you actually start fellowshipping with them. And so, I didn't know why she had that type of aura or she had that type of glow. And, she had that glow because she had a relationship with God. I mean, she had a very intimate relationship with Him because you can know Him, but then you don't have a fellowship with Him. And so through her, I became more intrigued, where it put me in a position where to read more, because my mom, when I went off to college, my mom gave me a Bible. I didn't know no other scripture in the Bible, only Psalms 91. Mm-hmm. And, I stood on that forever. That's the only thing I knew about the Bible, because that's what mommy told me to do. We went to church or whatever, but, we just wasn't everyday people, going to church every single Sunday, every Wednesday, or whatever the case may be. And we're still blessed and highly favored. But anyway, but back to that about her. So I'm like, wow, here this woman, she has this glow. I mean, why she got this glow? Who is she or whatever? And so when I started fellowshipping with her, I'm like, well, if God did that for her, what is it that God can do for me? So I've started tapping more into my word. I started, fellowshipping with him more. Was it every single day? No, it was not. It was not. But it was a process. And that process, I learned who he was. And I understood when he says that, we're made in his image and that he's love. And, he says that who he is and I am and whatnot. So, God blessed me with the opportunity one day to literally glimpse at who I really was. And I saw my own beauty. God gave me the opportunity to see myself as he saw me. And that just changed everything about how I felt about myself. And that was the beginning of, and I think I'm in my early 20s now. Mm-hmm. That was really just, or maybe mid 20s. That was the start of it. Because when I realized that he said that he is, and I'm a byproduct of him, that means that I am as well. And so this whole thing came about, my movement that I was starting, The Great I Am. Because if he's great, like I said, I'm his child. So therefore, I'm great too. Okay. And so I started taking that serious. And when I took that serious, I am great. I can do this, I can do that, and what have you. And what have you, my confidence just soared. That's good.
Well, we'll just we'll try and cram in as much as we can. So let's move on to talking about, when did you decide you wanted to write a book, or when we're going to talk about your book? Well, when did you get to that stage that you wanted to think, well, did somebody approach you and say you ever thought of being an author, or do you want to write about your story, or how did that all come? How did that all come about? We'll fast track a little bit just into the book.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Well, like I said, my idea of entrepreneurship was not to be the new thing, the entrepreneur. Okay. When I had the opportunity, after I had lost my mom last year in June, I also lost my job shortly after that as well, because where I was, they closed that department. Right. Okay. Now, I saw it as a gift. I saw it as a gift because it was an opportunity for me, because all these years I've been talking about, if I wasn't working for anybody else, I don't want to work for anybody else, I can do this and I can do that. I had a mentor, and my mentor, we were talking about, what how to, share that with people, how to share your experience. So, that's the thing, how the self-esteem came in, because if I knew that I, as an adult, was still wounded from things that was going on in my childhood, even though I was able to mask it, but I was not really healed. And I know, I'm like, okay, so if I'm feeling that way, I'm sure there's other adults out there who are still hurt, who are still wounded. They don't necessarily know how to address a particular issue. They don't know how to heal from it. And then once you heal, maintain your health. So that's the project that I was working on. I was working on that project. And it was through a dream that I had a dream that I was talking to this woman. Let me try to make this fast. I was talking to this woman. I went up to the bar, because it was like I was out somewhere and I asked for a drink. It could have been some wine, I don't know. But I asked for a drink, and she said, aren't you, she said, you the one who wrote that book? And I was like, yes, I am Lee Welch, like the juice. And I said, you're talking about my book, Who Says You Can't? Mm-hmm. So that was it. You know, I didn't think anything else of it or whatever the case may be. Now, some people say the universe would talk to you. But but God was talking to me through other people, because everywhere I went at this point after I had the dream, I'm listening to other people, live streams, like, you know, I would be listening to your podcast and things of that nature. And somebody said, well, you know, I think people are storytellers and people need to hear your story and you need to write your book. I mean, this was like hitting me like on both sides of my face. I kid you not. I mean, it was really, I'm like, okay, well, all right. I'm like, okay, Lord, I'll write the book. But then I still try to take control. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is that I'm like, okay, so I conceded to write the book, but I'm going to come up with my own title. I couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't get anywhere with that. I was like, okay. And I thought I had some good titles too, mm-hmm. you know? And, but I couldn't complete the chapters. I mean, I just didn't go anywhere. And I'm like, okay. And so God brought it back to my remembrance. He's like, I gave you a chapter. I gave you the name of your book, Who Says You Can't? And I was like, okay. I said, all right, Lord, I'm going to write the book and it's going to be, you know, Who Says You Can't? I kid you not. As soon as I conceded, mm-hmm. I mean, I'm in my sleep dreaming about chapters. I had to wake up. I'm so serious. I'm waking up like, okay, wait a minute, Holy Spirit, help me remember that chapter. I mean, it was just coming out of me. It was just like pouring like a waterfall. I kid you not. And the whole Who Says You Can't in the front of that, of my book, is really, that's why I say entrepreneurship in your personal life, they work hand to hand, because, you know, on the personal side, you know, you have goals. As an entrepreneur, you have goals, and sometimes you don't make those goals or whatnot. And what a person has to learn, what I had to learn, and just because I failed doesn't mean it's over. You have to trust in your abilities. I say that all throughout my book, Who Says You Can't? You have to trust in your abilities, even if you fail. Yeah. You have to. You trust in your abilities because you have your podcast. You get where I'm going with that? And
takes time to develop it.
I'm sorry?
It takes time. You're just about developing and persevering. You just got to keep at it and keep going, and that's what you got to do.
Right. But everyone does it. I mean, the truth of the matter, you have a lot of people, and it ties in back to their self-esteem, because some people have the behavior of negative talk. Mm-hmm. And see, I had the behavior of negative talk as well. I talk about that in my book. See, that's why I say, you know, I don't know if I'm like a box of chocolate or if I'm an onion with so many layers, because there's so many parts of me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like I have, in the 47 years, I have delved in so many things. And I guess that's so I'll be able to talk about it, about my experience, about so many things. And that's what my book is for. You know, I'm very open and transparent about some things, about, you know, my marriage in my book, and how we did not give up on each other because it was looking hopeless, you know, what have you. And you know, I talk about you know, trial and error and not having patience and being, you know, the jack of all trades, doing passion parties, selling health stuff and all this kind of, just being all over the place.
Okay.
Just being all over the place.
What we're going to do is I'm going to play one more song, and then we're going to come back. We're going to do, and what we'll do is we'll get you to name two things that really stood out from you that you want to put out there about your book, and we'll get you can tell people the links where people can connect with you, and then you can say the final word, and then as I say, all links usually as people listen to this, whether you're listening live or on the replay, all the links are on the show notes of the podcast, etc., where you can connect with Leila. And if you want to, you can buy her book, etc., and connect with her and chat. If you've experienced something similar to what she's been through, you can connect with her, and it's going to be, it'd be good to you can reach out to her and have a chat and share your experience and what she went through, and you maybe yourself. So we're back after Benita Charles' song "I Miss You." It's called "Miss You," and that's what you do. If I can get it in me, there we go. Just and we'll be back after this, and we'll be back with Leila. Then we'll get a few bits, a couple of things from her book, and a couple of things of what she's thinking about going forward, what her plans are, and we'll kind of wrap up shortly. Okay. Back in a second.
I miss you, and it's driving me crazy. I think about you all the time. You went away, and you took my heart with you. Oh baby, can't you see I'm lost, and baby I miss you. It's driving me crazy. I miss you so much. I said I'm missing my baby, and it's driving me crazy. Ooh, yeah. I miss you so much. Since you went away, I haven't seen the light of day. Oh babe, I miss your touch so much. No other love can move me quite the way you do. I wait so patiently for you, and baby I miss you. It's driving me crazy. Said I'm missing my baby right now, 'cause I miss you. It's driving me crazy. I miss you so much. I count the days, I count the hours till you return. I need your love so much. I can't wait for the day when you're back in my arms. I miss you, and it's driving me crazy. I said I'm missing you, baby. I miss you so right now. I miss you. I miss you, and it's driving me crazy. I said I'm missing my baby. I miss you so right now. I love how you touch me, baby. I miss your kissing, baby. I said I'm missing my baby right now, 'cause I miss you. It's driving me crazy. I said I'm missing my baby right now. I need to feel you next to me. It's driving me crazy. I said I'm missing my baby right now. I miss you. I miss you, and it's driving me crazy. I miss you so much. I need my baby. I miss you, and it's driving me crazy. I feel so incomplete. I miss you so much. I'm missing my baby.
You're listening to Edinburgh, Scotland's must-listen-to podcast on heartsonglive.co.uk, your inspirational station.
And welcome back to Ramsay Unleashed Going Beyond Borders. We're going to finally wrap up shortly. Leila, we're going to, with my guest Leila Welch, and if you've been listening live, you will hear that she talked a little bit about bullying and loneliness, how she's got through it, and now a bit of entrepreneurship. She had her own candy store. We're just talking about her book. And we're about to I'm going to quickly picked 2 things that stood out from her book that she wants to share with you guys that will hopefully maybe inspire you and help you. We'll have her links so where you can find her, and she can do the final word to wrap up the show. So fire away. Go for it.
Absolutely, thank you. I enjoyed the song. That was really nice. But throughout my book, I have all kind of key factors, and two of the key factors I kind of want to leave with everyone, is that regardless if it's in your personal life or if you're striving to be a full-time entrepreneur or whatever, it is going to take commitment. You're going to have to be committed. You have to be committed to yourself. You have the ability to create who you want to become, but it's not going to happen overnight. You have to be committed to yourself. It also requires patience, because there again, it is not going to happen overnight. One of the analogies I love to use is a farmer. A farmer, he plants his seeds, he till. He have no idea when his harvest is coming, but he is he's taking care of things, and he's also, extending his patience. And that's what you have to do with yourself as well. And lastly, what I definitely want to leave with you, because, when you talk about your life story, you really can't get it all in, because it's so many facets of my life. It really, really is. Okay. But in order to really grow, in order to really heal, you really have to ask yourself, you have to have a real talk with yourself. And throughout my life, I had to have a real talk with Leila. Okay? Mm-hmm. Not leiwelch like the juice. I had to have a real talk with Leila. Are you the reason? And I had to ask myself this question, and I want you to ask yourself this question too. Are you really the reason you're not where you want to be in your life? That is not to attack or place blame or point fingers or what have you. Sometimes we have behaviors that we have to change. We have to renew our mind in order to get where we're trying to get to lead up to the success and the dreams that you see. So that's what I want to leave you. I want to leave you with those things. I have other key factors in my book, but it takes commitment. You have to have patience, and you just really have to be honest with yourself if you want to change. You can find my book. Mm-hmm. I have it in ebook format. I have it in paperback format or what have you. I'm on Amazon. Like everyone else. I love it. And like who says you can't? Leiwelch, like the juice. My whole thing is really just to inspire you. This is the book is all about, is to inspire you and not give up on yourself. I had someone used to say to me, well, what, you going to still be 88 years old trying to do this, stuff, and so? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Where else can people connect with you, just quickly?
I'm sorry?
Where else can people connect with you, just quickly?
Okay, yes. You can go to my website. My website is Like the Juice. It's not your traditional THE. It is DA. So it's likethejuice.com. You can reach out to me there on my website. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I have a group. Let me put it like that. I have a group on there. Of course, it's facebook.com. It's groups The Great I Am. Again, it's DA, not THE. And my email address. You can reach out to me. My email address, it is leiwelch. That is LEIWELCH at The Great I Am, DA Great I Am.
Good. Well, we'll have all these in the notes in the show notes at the end of the show. But yeah, I just want to thank you for your time being on the show. It's been great, and thank you for. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I definitely enjoyed it. I I've listened to some of your other podcasts, and they were conducted, very professionally and fun. So I'm just glad. I'm very thankful and grateful for the opportunity today.
I still appreciate it. So the music that I had played before was another one from Benita Charles. So just for those who might have missed, I didn't say. But we've also had our new feature from 60 Second Singing Tip by Benita Charles, which will be great every week. Just a quick shout out at the end to the supporters of my show. As I say, we have kingdombeads.com with Aoife Leatham. So if you're looking at buying some beads, or like, did you male? She does female. It does necklaces as well. If you like that kind of thing, you can purchase from kingdombeads.com. You can design your own. EileenSmith.com, who, if you like to do live streaming, or you want to learn about podcasting or live streaming as well, you can go to Eileen, which is Ileana Smith.com. You can find her on YouTube. There's the Guy Cook Report podcast as well. Ideas Go Live, John Drummond, who's web designer in Edinburgh, Scotland. He is very good. Does my website for my business. And For Humanity, Shannon Griffin, and many, many people support what we do, and all the people who have interviewed in the past. We've got some many great guests coming up in the future, and as I say, it's going to be great. We've got some Leila Best is next week. We've got Nico C. Austin as well. So we've got lots and lots of people coming up. Claire Chapman, Brent Mann, and these are people from great names, great people, great stories going forward. And it's been a great pleasure to interview Leila Welch, like the juice, all the way from Birmingham, Alabama, and say thank you for listening. Yeah. Thank you to everybody. And just want to say a quick goodbye, say a quick message, and we'll end, okay? Because we're over time already.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what I always say: faith cancels out fear, and fear cancels out faith. Good night.
Okay, take it easy, everybody, and we'll catch up with you next week, and we'll see you then. Bye bye now.